What's up YouTube? This is the Psy-Frame Duelist coming at you guys with another in real life Psy-Frame deck profile. This time, again, it's going to be Psy-Frames just because I missed a month to do this and it's still starting to get to the middle of this month too, and I've been neglecting this for too long. I was taking a month off because I was testing it out, seeing what I should do with it. See if there's any changes that need to be made. For the longest time it was kind of staying the same, but I did some minor changes, so I might as well make another Psy-Frame deck profile. Starting things off, you're going to run the usual 3 driver. He's self-explanatory. He's the main card you need to go into. And then 3 alpha. You're going to need all 3 of the gears. Alpha, if you control no monsters, and your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can special summon himself and a driver from anywhere except for Banish Zone, and banish it during the end phase if nothing happens to them. 3 beta, if a monster your opponent controls declares a direct attack, you can destroy the monster, then end the battle phase, and special summon the driver and a beta from anywhere. Delta, he negates spell cards, and then special summons from anywhere and banishes during the end phase. Triple Gamma, he negates monster effects, special summons from anywhere, and then banishes during the end phase. The last part is usually completely irrelevant depending on your situation, but he's pretty clutch too because he stops monster effects. So he can even stop Maxis from going off just in case. You normally don't want him Gamma Maxi, but if you're kind of in a situation where you don't want your opponent to draw, or if you feel like you've gained enough advantage already, you might as well Gamma the Maxi away just in case. Then we need triple card D. Sorry, rank 10's getting in my head now. Use your Pot of Greed. You don't do anything on your own turn anyway, so it's perfectly fine. That's it for the monster count. I'm not sure exactly what the number is, but it's a lot of monsters, and it's perfectly fine the way it is. Next up, we're going to run triple circuit. This is the reason why the last text in the cards are completely irrelevant, because if you have a Psy-Frame monster is special summoned, then this card will immediately attempt to synchro summon them. Also, if a Psy-Frame card attacks or is attacked between 2 monsters, you can ditch a Psy-Frame from your hand and then make the Psy-Frame monster gain the attack of the ditched Psy-Frame card. So it's a pseudo-urgent tuning and a pseudo-honest, so it's a really good card. I really recommend you try to protect this card as much as possible. So keep all your betas for your circuits just in case, and yada yada yada, etc, etc, etc. Next up, we run triple Pot of Greeds. This is my German Pot of Greed I got. I like to hold on to a American one just in case someone asks for a translation, which sometimes people do just to be a jerk. Because if I can't provide an accurate translation, then I have to forfeit the game. Or match, I'm not exactly sure. I haven't had to run into that problem yet, so it's perfectly fine. It's gold rare, so I love it, and it's German, so I love it even more. My 2 favorite things in the world put together in one card. It's beautiful. I love it. Next up, you want to run 2 Psychic Field Zone. This card is the reason why you can blindly use your deltas, gammas, and alphas turn 1. Because when they get banished during the end phase, Field Zone lets you synchro summon with them. It just targets 2 banished psychic type monsters, 1 tuner, 1 non-tuner, returns them to the grave, and then special summons a synchro monster with a combined level of them. And since it special summons and it doesn't synchro summon, then you can go for Overmind Archfiend, because when it's special summoned, it doesn't care about what the requirements are for the synchro summon. Otherwise, there's no way in hell you could ever think about making this card in this deck. It's all because of Field Zone. There's no other way to make Overmind Archfiend in this deck other than Field Zone, so don't try and make it other than that way. Next up, you're going to run 1 Upstart Goblin, because you can only run 1. one psychic path because it's good at one. I run one terraforming. You can bump it up to 2, but I took it out and am now trying to debate what to do with the position of the terraforming, mostly because I just find it clogging too much, because a lot of people have realized that for the most part I'm going to have my deltas when I activate my field spell, so it's no use trying to get rid of it anymore and then try to deal with the decks as it can, as I'm doing it. So I decided to take out the one terraforming to just keep it at 1. And it's been working out for me. I'm still debating the last position. I'll show you what I have so far and what I might change it up to, but that's just me. If you don't want to do that and you feel like terraforming's is too good at 2, then go ahead and just keep it at 2. It's up to you. I decided to bump it down to 1, but that's just me. Next up we run one soul charge. This is Portuguese. Oh yeah, one final thing before I go on to this card. Terraforming, if you want to replace terraforming with Planet Pathfinder, you can go ahead and do that. I haven't been testing it out, but I think terraforming is better, but I've been told that they should go with Planet Pathfinder because it attributes itself and gets a field spell. I don't believe so, but whatever. Alright, moving on. Soul Charge, this is Portuguese. I traded a lot of really shitty cards for this one card, so I am very happy. The guy was very gracious because the total amount that I traded of my cards wasn't even close to how much this card was worth. I think it was a bunch of like 50-cent cards, like I think 7 of them, and this card is already worth a couple more bucks than that, so it's whatever. I was about to trade my Soul Charge for this one too, just to spice up the deal, but then I realized if I don't have a translation of Soul Charge, and I'm not going to print out what Soul Charge is in English, because I don't like keeping a sheet of paper with me all the time. And he understood that, and he said, alright, you can keep your Soul Charge, I don't really need that card. So I was like, alright, so I kept my Soul Charge, and I just hold on to it for translation problems in case someone wants to troll me. But this is Portuguese, and it's very beautiful. I love it. It's not even a common. He traded me a foil Soul Charge for a bunch of 50-cent cards that weren't even worth as much as this card was. I'm so happy. Okay, now going on to the one card I have replacing the terraforming. I chose Twin Twister, mostly because there's a few targets that I can use with Twin Twister. A lot of times I find myself opening with Driver, and you never want to do that. So I just Twin Twister and discard the Driver, or I can discard my overloads and get the search off, because a lot of times that search is very key. And you may have noticed this orange card down here. It's the card I'm probably going to replace Twin Twister with, and that's Galaxy Cyclone. I finally picked up one. I have a second one coming in the mail, but I'm going to wait till the second one comes in before I decide to do with what I will. Maybe I'll switch out Twin Twisters with Galaxy Cyclone, or maybe I'll switch it with MSTs in my side. I don't really know. We're just going to have to find out what Cosmic Cyclone is best at, because I have a lot of backrow hate in my side deck. I have what is 2 Spell Shattering Arrows and 2 MSTs in my side, just in case, because a lot of times, like Monarchs and whatnot, they get their field spell set up, they get a return set up, it's like, what do? You can't do anything at that point. So Spell Shattering Arrow stops that, and MSTs stop that. Galaxy Cyclone stopped that too. Twin Twisters can also stop that. I don't really know. Twin Twisters doesn't have very much, discard targets in this deck, so it might get switched out with Cosmic Cyclone. But I'll update you on that probably next month when I make another deck profile. But at the moment, it's sitting with Twin Twisters at 1. I might also take out the Twin Twisters for Jar of Greed, considering how a lot of your targets you can draw for is your gears, and all those want to be done on your opponent's turn. So drawing during your opponent's turn with Jar of Greed is not a problem for me, honestly. And if I draw into any of these things, then oh well, I got a card for next turn. But 9 times out of 10, I'll draw into like the gears and whatnot. So it's just a debate I'm having with people. I don't really know. Other than that, that's it for the spell cards. Moving on to the trap cards. You run 3 overloads, that's obvious. Overload is the best trap in the game right now. Or probably, it's not, but it's probably easily one of the best traps in the game right now. Just because banishing cards face down is absolutely fucking incredible. And most people don't have cards that bring back from banishment that doesn't target a specific type. Like monsters, spells, water types, whatnot, etc, etc, etc. And the only way to bring back cards that banish face down are cards that say return from banished zone, targeting one banished card, not anything else. So Overload is really great at that, and it's super clutch at some points. Because when your opponent's just setting cards face down, stalling it out, you can use Psy-Frame Overload and just banish all their stuff face down. So when you decide to finally go off with your field zones and whatnot, they don't have any back row to stop you, and it's just incredible. Next up, you want to run 3 of the Drowning because you don't run any monsters that will protect your life points. And what Drowning does is if your opponent declares a direct attack, you can shuffle all attack position monsters into the deck. It's so great, I love it. And for the last 3 cards, we run Solemns. So I decided to just say fuck it, and I put in all of the Solemns. I put in 2 strikes and 1 warning, the whole Solemn Brigade. Speaking of the Solemns, you might want to switch out the Twin Twister for a 3rd strike. I think that'll be too cloggy and too much life point cost for strikes. But hey, it's something you can try and something I just thought about. So maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. I don't know. I'm going to have to continue doing some more testing on that. Dropping that Terraforming really opened up my deck to a whole wide variety of cards I can put in that will actually help out my deck a lot. Spiritual Swords of Revealing Light is another good card I was thinking about too. That's coming in the mail right now. We'll see how it comes, how it's going to go when I try that card out, see what happens. Mostly because Spiritual Sword of Revealing Light and Omega putting it back into the grave is just way too fucking broken. Because it stops your opponent from declaring direct attacks, which just... it mitigates the whole problem of not running any monsters that'll stay on the field because of the gears. But for the main board, that's it. That's everything when it comes to spells, monsters, and traps. But yeah, so that's the main board. We'll just put that over there. That's my Cosmic Cyclone. Let's move on to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, I play 1 Overmind Archfiend. It's great. 3300 attack is great. I mostly go into it when I'm playing against like scrubs and whatnot that are just playing random decks. 1 Hyper Psychic Blaster. He's really great. Because he can make you gain life points back, which is clutch because you're paying so much life points to get your Solemns, to protect yourself, and you need the life point back. Not all the time, but a lot of the times. 1 Crystal Wing, because Crystal Wing is just so good, and this deck can make it, so why not? Next up, 2 Omegas, because Omega is the best card in the game right now. The best synchro card in the game right now. Also, I am 100% in agreement with Mega Capital G. Omega is broken, but it's not ban worthy. Maybe limited to 1. This deck will get hurt by it, but it can still function with it at 1. If it's at 0, then this deck just cannot function. Like, it doesn't have any 8 plays anymore. Like, this is 99.9% of the time what you're going into when you make your level 8 plays. Because Thought Ruler is not the best card in situations where this card is just so much better than that card. Or I'll have to completely redesign this deck again. One or the other is going to happen though after the ban list, because I think Level Eater needs to be banned, and this card can stay at 3, honestly, in my opinion. Because if Level Eater gets hit, then triple Omegas ripping cards out of your hand is not going to happen anymore. That's the only card that makes triple Omega. Even if your opponent can make one Omega, say Zombie Sworn or something like that, or Dark Synchro, all that, they only make one Omega, okay? It's Level Eater that can make the triple Omega because it's not once per turn. So if you can make Level Eater go to 0, triple Omega's never going to happen ever again. I can guarantee you that. I've never seen someone make triple Omega that didn't use Level Eater. I've seen people make one Omega making without Level Eater, but that's just as good as what Psy-Frames can do, and Psy-Frames haven't had a single problem with the ban list so far, so I don't see why Omega should be banned because of that, or limited to one again because of that. I'm sorry for the coughing fit. Something's in my throat apparently just now. Probably swallowed a bug. I don't know. Next up is One Thought Ruler Archfiend. I almost never make this card, but it's there just in case. But, you know, that's why not. I ran, for the next card, I have some problems with Magispector, so I ran the Yazi again, just because non-targeting, being able to swing over all of their Magispectors is just far too good. So this is actually something I'm starting to mainboard again. I took it out for the longest time because I figured at the time non-targeting cards wasn't, you know, a non-targetable 2600 beat stick wasn't going to get over a freaking 3k beat stick, aka Dark Destroyer. But since that deck's kind of fallen out of grace and I feel like Magispectors are coming back, Yazi's going to start to become more and more relevant. And so I just want to make sure I hold on to my Yazi just in case. So he's mainboarded right now. We'll see what happens to him. Next up, 2 Zetas, because Zeta's the best Psy-Frame ever. He targets a face-up attack position special summoned monster and banish it and itself until next standby phase. This is how you can mitigate your opponent's massive boards as long as they have one special summoned attack position monster and one monster that's weaker than it in the battle phase. You can go Zeta, swing over their lesser one, and then after it attacks, use Zeta's effect to target the other one, banishing them both. And then if you have an Omega on the field, you can just attack them directly, and then you don't need to worry about that at all. Zeta is so good because it counts as like 2 removals from the field. It's so great. This is an IRL build, so 1 Psychic Life Transfer. If you're playing online, you don't need this card because life point is not a problem with playing online. And we got 1 Black Rose because Black Rose nukes the board. 1 Hope Harbinger because Hope Harbinger is great. 1 Giant Grinder because you can go into Pain Gainer, which goes into the 7 Sins, as always. It's a good play to go into to stop Chaos Max and whatnot, because it can banish it and attach it to this card and whatnot. But that's just that. I'm running low on battery, so I'm starting to speed it up a bit. My side deck, which is just for me personally, is my token, obviously. And then for Blue Eyes, I run the 2 Light Imprisoning Mirrors. For Burning Abyss, I run the Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors. This is going to be replaced with this card when they come in the mail, because I'm getting the ultra rares and I don't like the commons. But for now, I'm running one in one. One of this for graveyard decks like Mermails and whatnot. 1 Mind Crush because everything's searching nowadays and ABCs and whatnot. 1 Anti-Spell for Pendulums and because I only own 1. 2 Spell Shattering Arrows because of backrow hate. 2 MSTs, again might get switched out with Galaxies, I'm not sure. And 1 Epsilon and 1 Fog King. Fog King is good because people are still playing Monarchs. I can just go synchroing into Zeta, tribute Zeta, get Fog King. They can't tribute their stuff, and I can just recycle Zeta back with its graveyard effect. It's so great. I love it. So that's my extra deck. I guess it's the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Do all the nonsense you usually do. And this is the Psy-Frame Duelist signing out.